things so players can't hear casters or be distracted too much. And here we go, into the game. Advantage, AKAWonder going first. He's got a Flame Tongue, but no 1-drop to go with it.
You still keep it.
Okay, but you don't keep the Primal Fin Totem. You have to pitch the Aya, obviously.
He's going to keep the Primal Fin, pitch the Flame Tongue Totem. I'm not a fan of the mulligan, honestly.
Well, it gives him a more consistent turn to you, but a much lower power opener. And we can see he does not hit the 1-drop into 2. He's missing on turn 1. And this actually puts AKAWonder behind, right? Because by the same logic, now Royaleeping gets on board first. He can coin out a Primal Fin Totem. It's not the cleanest turn 1 coining out a Primal Fin Totem because he doesn't have a follow-up, but I think if you... you still probably coin Primal Fin Totem. What do you think? You're going into a Shaman's turn 2. That's Jade Claws, Maelstrom Portal.
Jade Claws, Maelstrom Portal, or their own Primal Fin Totem. If you put out 2 Fireflies, you're not contesting the Primal Fin Totem. So might as well just develop your own Primal Fin Totem.
Yeah, and start getting value off that guy immediately because your opponent doesn't have a good way to punish it.
Right. If you put out 1 Firefly, you're weak to Jade Claws, so that doesn't seem ideal. If you put out 2 Fireflies, you're not as weak to Jade Claws, but you're still not generating value, so it's not as good, I don't think.
The value you get off 2 Fireflies is that you pressure a turn 2 hero power from AKAWonder. You could actually clear it because you have 2 attack on board. But I think the reasoning from Royal here is that you're not really that concerned if he's hero powering on turn 2, and you would like to be accumulating an extra 1/1 a turn sooner from this Primal Fin Totem.
Right. If AKAWonder is just hero powering on turn 2, then Royal is just going to start driving away with the game in that beautiful red car.
Oh, yeah. So I'm thinking AKAWonder drops this Primal Fin Totem and hopes for no Flame Tongue. If there is a Flame Tongue, things go very badly, but what can you do?
Not much, man. This is all he can do is meet Finn with Finn.
Finn to win.
He's trying to, and it's not looking fantastic. Now, interestingly, if Ping did happen to go with double Firefly, he would have been able to beat down this Primal Fin Totem with the Patches top deck, but it would have been awkward still. So I think you still agree with Primal Fin, man.
Yeah. So Royal has the option here of does he want to pull Patches out of his deck? It comes at a cost of he doesn't have the option of destroying a weapon charge from Jade Claws. Would Jade Claws have come out instead of the Primal Fin Totem?
Most likely, but not necessarily always.
Yeah, like there's the overload consideration. Maybe AKAWonder wanted some 3-drop.
Oh my. Look at that hand. The double Maelstrom Portal hand.
Yeah, so AKAWonder, he's behind because he missed turn 1, but he has these swing turns from Maelstrom Portal.
And he's going to be able to have the swing turns go right before he's able to go with Doppelgangster Evolve. So he can like push himself ahead on the board, then go Doppelgangster Evolve to try and seal out the game. So he's actually in a fantastic position for being able to come back on the board with double Maelstrom Portal.
And I like this Mana Tide. There's not much point rolling a totem because you can't use the spell damage. You don't have enough mana to spell damage Maelstrom Portal, and the spell damage totem would just get killed, right? So he just plays the Mana Tide, be mana efficient. You won't have a better opportunity to play it later. Sure, your opponent has an onboard kill for it now, but if they kill the Tide, then maybe the Primal Fin Totem's living another turn. So at least it's getting you some value there.
Well, as well, if they kill the Tide, it sets up for his double Maelstrom to clear the board. Because the 1/1 stays around, that can punch into the Primal Fin, and then you can fire off these portals, killing everything.
And in true Mirror Match fashion, I think Royal's going to follow up that Mana Tide with the Mana Tide. I think everyone's just playing Tides and Primal Fin Totems.
Yeah, I can't see why not.
Play a Tide, kill the Tide, right?
Yep. He could go with pull Patches and Totem just to be able to clean off an extra 1/1 to try and play around Spell Power Maelstrom, but I don't think you really
do that.
Do that, yeah, because it's only 25%, and it's even lower percent that your opponent has double Maelstrom in hand right now, and this is a bummer for him.
Royal in this position he feels really strong here. He's got 6 minions to 2. He's got a Tide that's unanswered on board, a Primal Fin Totem that's just ticking every turn. But unfortunately for him, AKAWonder happens to have the hand that gets him out of this position.
Well, he doesn't even need to go with double Maelstrom if he doesn't want to.
No, you could do one in a Flame Tongue. Kill both.
Yeah, one in a Flame Tongue. Is that better, though? That it is really vulnerable to your opponent's Flame Tongue, but you know they don't have Flame Tongue because the board looks like this. Yeah, exactly. If they had Flame Tongue, this Primal Fin was gone.
Yeah.
So you would have to be trying to play around a top deck Flame Tongue in that case.
Nah, you're not in a strong enough position to play around top decks that effectively, are you?
And I think you set up yourself a more resilient board to your opponent's Maelstrom Portal if you only use one portal in the Flame Tongue. So I like that better.
Yeah, you want to save Maelstrom Portals as much as possible, right? Like, you need to fire off one here to kill the stuff, but you don't have... He's going for two.
He's going for two, yeah.
Okay. Well, it does have the advantage of it clears off those Flame Elemental and Firefly minions. And he leaves the mana tied up. He's really prioritizing board presence. He figures the Primal Fin Totem gives the opponent board presence. The mana tide gives him card draw. He'd rather give him a card draw than the 1/1 in play.
Well, yeah, if he can just make it till turn 6, then cards aren't going to matter anymore because Doppelgangster Evolve. If you do that first, usually you win, and he's the player that went first and the coin's already been expended, so he's going to be able to be the first player to have that combo go off.
Okay. I do think cards still matter. If Royal finds a Maelstrom Portal, it makes a big difference in AKAWonder's win rate from this position. Beyond that, there's also just, even if you're not the first person to Doppelgangster Evolve, getting a Doppelgangster Evolve off at all is very helpful. So the cards drawn matter for Maelstrom Portal, for Doppelgangster Evolve, and you can imagine just other random cards find ways to be relevant.
Yeah, I mean, cards are good.
Yeah.
No arguments there. He just didn't want the 1/1s, man. He evaluated that they were more expensive to him. Ooh, patches drawn for Royal now. A little bit of a bummer with 2 of the Corsairs in hand.
Yeah. AKAWonder gets an opportunity to use Flame Tongue with a bunch of minions this turn if he wants it. He could trade his Chum into that Barnes, kill all the things. So, if you're AKAWonder, you're thinking, I'm going to Doppelgangster Evolve next turn. How do I just get to that position and not give my opponent opportunities to get back in the game?
Right. You want to put as much stats in play as you can that are as least vulnerable to AoE. So I like playing Barnes and Firefly and just taking the onboard trades a lot of the time. I don't know. I think using Flame Tongue to take the trades puts less health in play on the board because you're toteming playing Firefly in the Flame Tongue totem, right? So a lot of the minions in play have 1 health or 2 health.
Okay, you like having that 4 health Barnes in play.
Yeah, and you have to trade off one of your 2 health minions this way. I mean, there was no Maelstrom Portal, but you're really playing with fire.
Well, the advantage to this line is you get to keep the Young Priestess around who buffs the health of something. And you get to start getting Flame Tongue value immediately, and it's nice to be getting that Flame Tongue value since you've been seeing your Primal Fin Totem stick to the board turn after turn. So you're thinking Royal is not doing a great job of having answers in hand to these things, so why not just start crushing him under the power of Flame Tongue immediately?
The power.
Yeah, and Royal picks up a Jade Lightning, which is not the sexiest of turn 5s, but it kills a Flame Tongue, die a lot slower that way.
Definitely not the sexiest of draws.
He can jam patches into that Young Priestess and Jade Lightning the Flame Tongue. Try to live to fight another day. Interestingly, AKAWonder does not have board space for this Doppelgangster Evolve. And
you can make it.
Okay, yeah, you can trade off his 1/1, sure.
Right. He's probably going to trade off his 1/1 and Doppelgangster Evolve, and as long as he doesn't roll Doomsayer, I don't see any way he's going to lose from that position.
Yeah, this is a crushing advantage for AKAWonder. He started off behind, but then he had the Maelstrom Portals to pull ahead. Royal didn't have any Maelstrom Portal to catch back up from AKAWonder's Maelstrom Portals, and then AKAWonder probably closed it out with Doppelgangster Evolve.
Maelstrom Portal being the highest win rate card when drawn in the matchup. Makes
sense. It is.
Yeah, I mean,
the only card that really, I shouldn't say Doppelgangster Evolve can also catch you up when you're behind, but it's certainly the most consistent way to catch up when you're behind. Hymen, pretty good 6-drop to evolve into. Less good is that Silithid Swarmer on the left. It can't attack unless your character attacks, so he needs to draw a Jade Claws for that to do anything other than take up board space. It sort of protects from a devolve. You still got a 2-drop off it. Jade Lightning deals 5 here, but then you're not spawning a minion because of board space. You have spell damage from the Cult Sorcerer in the middle there.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can just Jade Lightning that taunt, go face for all of it, and evolve. See what you get.
Sounds like a fun plan.
It wins a lot of the time, but it's also kind of introducing some randomness to a position where it feels like you're winning close to 100% of the time.
Yeah.
This is 19 damage. We're putting him to 6 if we Jade Lightning the taunt, go all face. So
He's going to take all the trades, be extra safe, make sure to clean up the board completely. And
it's less flashy, but very consistent. It's hard to argue against this line of play. He's thinking about skipping the totem. No, he takes it because he figures he can just trade in a minion. Okay. It's something to be aware of. Do I want to use this last board slot on my side of the board? And the answer is yes. It says Shaman Mirror. You can afford to do that. It's different if you're playing against the mage and more worried about Frost Nova and not being able to play anything. Well, Jade Claw's coming out for Royal, picking up, killing the Sunkeeper Tarim. He's got a thing from below for a taunt that dies to just the Jade Lightning. And then there is 14 damage coming through, so 2 off lethal. This could be
he's dead, man. He's dead. He's not coming back this game. We're kicking a dead horse.
Well, I just want to know, would you go for the Evolve to try and find 2 damage worth of Charger? Or are you going to hang on to your high main?
I would hang on to my high main, man. Just Jade Lightning the thing, take the trade, damage face play, I don't know. And then you're good.
Yeah.
Imagine
it's
a
hard
scenario,
to play Aya. You have to suicide your 1/1 to make board space.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't need to summon anything off Aya if you don't really want to.
I want to. You suicide the 1/1. Okay.
A 5/3 in play. I think that's fine. But yeah, you should suicide the 1/1 and play Aya, I think.
Yeah,
but he's holding it back for the reload in case.
Whatever.
Evolve into Doomsayer.
Well, here's the devolve. Now he just needs to find a Doomsayer. And that Silithid Swarmer exactly on the far left. No, it's got poison.
All right, so what is happening with the rest of these matchups? The mage from Ping is banned, and this is Conquest, right?
Probably. We're going to find out here.
We're going to find out what the format is. And then he has Pirate Warrior remaining now, and the Paladin as well. And if it's Conquest, he still has to get a win with that Shaman. So the Shaman escaping for AKAWonder, not that big of a deal. It would have found a win against all of the decks from Ping. So, he takes one to the chin here, but it's not that big of a deal. It's not one of the decks he's targeting by any means. Sure. What is he targeting with that lineup? He's got UK Paladin, Pirate Warrior with double Grimy Gadgeteer, and standard Evolve Shaman.
So far he's targeting Quest Rogue, I would say.
Which doesn't exist in this tournament.
Okay, I mean, I have to... Yeah, you got to think players knew that they should not bring Quest Rogue because it would be nerfed by the time the tournament went live, right?
Right. I have to imagine that's the case. His lineup...
it's generally aggressive stuff. So
yeah, 3 aggro decks.
So what's weak to that? The Mage is not weak to that. I think Jade Druid does okay against the Pirate Warrior and the Token Shaman.
Yeah.
It's probably in trouble against the Paladin. Now that Quest Rogue's gone, I'm not really sure what aggro's super great against.
Aggro's just pretty okay versus everything, right? It's occasionally you win. It's not that bad against anything, but it's not really targeting anything super specific.
Yeah, it's just that aggro can be targeted. Sometimes you run into those guys who want to beat you with no win condition priest and no win condition paladin. That kind of stuff. Aggro can still beat that stuff, but you're definitely unfavored. All right.
Yeah. I'm definitely more of a fan of AKAWonder's lineup here in the overall set. He has Taunt Warrior. He has the same exact Paladin deck, and then he's got the kind of hybrid Gunther Freeze Mage with the Blizzards and the Doomsayers and the Novas. So he should be just at a huge advantage just because he has these 2 control decks that are just going to dominate these aggro decks.
Yeah, he's kind of got a bunch of decks that are just pretty good against aggro. The UK Paladin has those Dread Corsairs and Stonehills and the weapons, which help the aggro matchups. Token Shaman's just an aggro deck that's good against aggro because the Maelstrom Portal, the Devolve, the Jade Claws. It just has good board control tools, really strong board control tools. So all of his decks are pretty good against aggro, and the opponent's playing a bunch of aggro decks. So I think the opponent's Pirate Warrior, which we're seeing here, may be a deck to watch. It may struggle to get a win, and if it does get a win, that could be really good for his chances to take the match.
And that's what he's playing right now. So this is the key to victory for Ping, because the differences in the lineup, the only difference is this one deck. They both have the same exact shaman deck and the same exact paladin deck, card for card. All 30 cards are the same. Their third deck list, though, for Ping is the Pirate Warrior, and for AKAWonder is the Freeze Mage. So that's the one difference in their lineup. Pirate Warrior having 0 favorables across the board, except maybe against Freeze Mage. It doesn't perform that bad, but the Freeze Mage's got like Volcanic Potion and stuff in there that's going to make it struggle, as well as Mana Worms. And Freeze Mage having 3 favorables across the board, basically. So
yeah, and AKAWonder had a pretty strong mulligan here. He was able to keep Rock Bull Hunter and Rallying Blade, and he picks up a Dread Corsair to pair with one of those weapons in his hand. 1 mana 3/3 taunt that pulls out a 1/1 charge is a hell of a card. That's kind of the idea behind the deck, is you just put this package in there, because when you draw the weapon and the Dread Corsair and not the patches, it's nice. On the flip side, Royal, or Ping you're calling him, has a very strong hand of turn 1 deckhand, turn 2 War Axe, turn 3 Upgrade Girl. If Upgrade Girl is not active yet, you have the Frothing as an alternative.
yeah, he's got a very, very solid Pirate Warrior hand. You can't really ask for much better. So it'll be interesting to see these clash. AKAWonder missing the 1-drops in the Murloc is a big deal.
Yeah, he'd want to have Argent Squire or the 1/3 Vilefin Inquisitor here. Something to contest Royal's board, because now Royal equips the War Axe, and AKAWonder won't be able to clear both pirates in one turn, meaning there's going to be a pirate in play on turn 3 for Royal, allowing him to play that Cultist and get the upgrade value on his Fiery War Axe, which is generally a good sign that you're winning. Turn 3 upgrading your Fiery War Axe with a Spider Tank.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. The swing of Cultist is so brutal. When you're able to land that with Pirate Warrior in stride like that, it's disgusting. So now, how does he set up to try and deal with things? Looks like he's just trying to plan around getting the pirate out next turn.
Yeah, my instinct is coin rallying, set up for that Dread Corsair turn.
Setting up his own power swing. It seems really bad to play a 2/3 into a 3/2 weapon, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
And this way he can contest, maybe there is no Cultist, maybe just Frothing Berserker comes down and then he's good to go, or Captain comes down.
Yeah, as long as it's not Cultist. Oh, it's Cultist.
Yeah. And Royal Ping can start really just chucking things at the face after that. He's going to have 12 damage on that axe. He might be able to get there before Spikeridge Steed can come down.
You know what I just realized about UK Paladin? I haven't played the deck much, and I haven't played against it that much. If you ever set up True Silver, you might be able to go turn 6 Dread Corsair for 0 mana, and then Spikeridge Steed on it.
Yeah.
That could be a powerful line against aggro. I think AKAWonder, he's up against a really fierce start from Ping, but his hand gives him chances, right? Like, he's got weapons to clear minions, he's got taunts to slow the game down, and if he ever sticks a Spikeridge Steed, that usually means Paladin wins against Pirate Warrior.
Well, there's some tech here. Royal Ping does have the Spellbreaker tech that could really help him out.
Yeah, if he draws it. Yeah, that's a good point.
The triple weapon draw.
That's a little bit unfortunate for AKAWonder. He shakes his head. He gave off a visual indicator he did not like to draw. Not really easy to use that information if you're Ping.
Yeah, you see your opponent shake their head. You're like, well, yeah, I just played Cultist and I'm beating the hell out of him on board. He's probably upset. I would be too. Yeah.
I mean, you could kind of tell that he shook his head because he didn't like the card that he drew based on the timing of things, but it's still, just because he doesn't like it doesn't tell you that much about the card.
It could be a 7-drop.
Could be a lot.
Could be a Gentle Megasaur. Could be a Blessing of King, Sunkeeper, Tarim, Spikeridge Steed, Fincha. There's a lot of cards that are not good for him in this situation.
Yeah.
Most of his deck,
Dread Corsair is a good card for him in this situation.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
nice
one. If
he drew 2 more of those, he would be pleased. Honestly, he's not in that bad of a spot, though. This swing turn is so powerful.
Yeah.
He is at 16, though.
put out a 3/3, a 1/1, and a 2/3, so that's a total of 6 attack and 7 health on turn 3.
Wow, now Ping gets to do it right back to him with the tempo swing of the 0 mana 3/3 taunt. Dread Corsair, really showing why it's such a good card.
Yeah, this is the Dread Corsair show, this game. And True Silver into Finja into Spike Ridge Steed will win him the board, but he's going to be dead.
Yeah. So maybe think about going Stonehill Defender there and looking for something.
I really like this True Silver. I think next turn you probably can't Finja because you'll see that you'll be dead. You'll probably have to Stonehill and hope for another Dread Corsair.
Okay, another Dread Corsair or Public Defender.
Ooh. This upgrade is 1 mana, 6 damage over 2 turns. Pretty powerful.
Good card. I would play that in my Face Warrior deck.
Yeah. He's got a 4/6 Frothing Berserker in hand. That can be difficult to answer.
See, this is what people say, sometimes you can try and target Pirate Warrior, and sometimes they pirate you.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you were saying, is aggro is just pretty good. Even if they're kind of trying to beat you, you can still just win.
Mm-hmm. He's going to be alive here at 2 HP. Heal happens first. And on board, technically alive at 1.
Good old technically alive.
And dead.
Goodbye, cruel world. So Ping takes it, ties up the series at 1-1.
And this is big. This is a huge win for Ping because this is the problem deck for him. This is the deck that was, I'd say, most heavily targeted by AKAWonder's lineup. But he's still not out of the woods yet. I would still give AKAWonder the edge because AKAWonder has that mage, which is essentially going to get a free win, and then he has the paladin.
Yeah, the paladin's decent against both decks, and the mage is pretty favored. But yeah, this being Conquest, it's a format where you kind of target decks from the opponent's lineup, right? So they can have a weakness, which was the Pirate Warrior, and now that weakness is eliminated since it's got to win. Just kind of expanding what you were saying there.
Yeah, the stats show Paladin being extremely favored against Pirate Warrior. Actually, more so than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be kind of like a 50-50 matchup, but Paladin kind of crushes it.
Okay, I mean, the Paladin is really, that's kind of why UK Paladin just recently popped up and became good. It's got these techs that make it much better than other aggro Paladins in this kind of matchup. The Dread Corsair, the Stonehill to go with it, the extra weapons to support the Dread Corsair, and even the Arshan Squire on turn 1. But I think crucially the reason it lost the favorable matchup is it missed the turn 1, and the opponent just had an extremely powerful curve of 1-drop into War Axe into activated upgrade on 3, and it didn't even stop there. There was a Dread Corsair to follow that up as well, which was another power spike. So the combination of AKAWonder having a bit of a weaker curve, it was strong but not like top tier strong, versus Royal really just nailing it. Turns 1 through 4 were borderline picture perfect, I would say.
A Kodak moment, if you will. Not sponsored by Kodak.
No, we shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a catchy jingle.
Yeah, I think Kodak's out of business, right? You can probably say that all you want. Who cares?
Are they really?
I feel like I haven't seen anything Kodak related in a while.
Is Kodak out of business? This is important.
Let's find out.
Is Kodak out of jail? Is what shows up. What did Kodak do?
All right, we're going to be seeing...
Kodak has been out of business for 5 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to see Token Shaman versus the Mage. Mage favors versus everything. Everything includes Token Shaman. That said, it's not game over for the Token Shaman to win it. What do they need? Maybe stick an early Flame Tongue and have the Mage not have removal? Or a Mana Tide? Just kind of stick any kind of totem that's not Primal Fin.
Yeah.
And just get
Primal Fin doesn't
value.
Do like enough. Flame Tongue is the best card in almost every single matchup for Shaman. It is one of the main reasons why you play the class. You're going to want to keep that one in just about every single matchup. And this is no exception. It can be very powerful against the Mage. Other things you're really looking for, any of the 1-drops is great. Bloodsail Corsair preferably, so you can pull patches from your deck. You're looking for any of the totems. Primal Fin Totem's great. Manatide Totem's great. All of that good stuff.
And this was actually kind of an interesting mulligan from AKAWonder. He had Mana Worm on 1, Doomsayer on 2. He actually mulliganed the Doomsayer looking for cards that support the Mana Worm opener. Something like any 2-drop or a Primordial Glyph.
Or Frostbolt, I guess. Yeah. So he had a lot of hits that he could try and go for. It's always interesting in those situations. I usually lean towards keeping both of the cards, and then if I get something that supports either one, it's good. So I get less amount of tries, but more potential good cards to hit.
Yeah, I generally like keeping both as well, but I can't really say that I fault AKAWonder for pitching the Doomsayer there. Like, there's definitely some solid logic behind it of just, I don't want these cards together. Part of the reason that I like Doomsayer off the mulligan against Shaman is that I don't like Doomsayer setups in the late game because of Devolve. Often, if you're token Shaman, you're saving a Devolve to deal with the Mage's Doomsayer.
Yeah, I like Doomsayers in the late game if you run Archmage, because you get the Doomsayer like Blizzard going on, and then you go Archmage Frostnova after they devolve that, and then they're screwed because they can't kill Archmage because they don't run Hex.
Right. AKAWonder, for his top-end minions, he has a Medivh and an Alexstrasza, so there's no Antonidas.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not as good to try and do those setups.
Well, this is a good trade ping turn. Kill one of those dudes. Can't do much else. The thinking is sort of just as a semi-bluff to kind of disguise what cards might be in his hand.
Right. Which, I don't know. You can't really disguise much. If you had any 2-drop spell, you're playing it there. Except maybe Frostbolt, but probably still Frostbolt.
You could tempo Medivh Valet and choose not to.
Huh. Okay, I guess that's fair, yeah.
So turn 3, Acolyte doesn't trade very well with the board, but it's probably not going to get better in the future. Like, if you ping pass, then there's probably going to be some minion that also trades well with Acolyte in the future. So you could Acolyte or Secret. I'm kind of surprised to see the ping here.
I like the ping.
You like
3
it?
damage. I think it's fine, yeah. Just try not to die. Try and extend the game as your goal. Try and maximize card draw to then get your freeze effects. And then you just win in the long term by burning them out, right? Shaman has no heal. So
You definitely win in the long term, so I like the idea of stalling out the game. So you're saying, yeah, it's mana inefficient, but it's on game plan. Just slow things down.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that.
So Ping makes a read that his Flame Tongue's not about to die, so he doesn't need to get any patches charge damage in yet. Turn 5 would be when it would die to Secret Valet. The only way it dies on 4 is Fireball, and that would be kind of a bummer, but it'd be tolerably bummerish, you know? If they Fireball your Flame Tongue, worse things could happen.
So the scary part about playing Doomsayer is it dies to Jade Claws, Jade Lightning, or Patches, and you know Patches is in his hand.
Yeah,
so.
The Patches in particular is pretty scary.
Just knowing that that's in your opponent's hand makes it a little awkward. It does heal you for 7, though, which isn't bad, but he's going to choose to hold on to it because he does know it will get killed.
Yeah, so Ice Block seems like the right play for AKAWonder. It sets up for future Medivh's Valet draws, which Ice Barrier would not. In the past, you tended to lead with Ice Barrier in these kind of positions, but Medivh Valet changed that. You want to develop a secret that's going to stick around. Figures Acolyte could be better in a future turn with a ping. The Doomsayer dies to the Patches, so great play by AKAWonder. Or normal, good, solid play anyways. There's nothing great about it, I guess. Alright, so if you're ping here, Barnes costs 4 mana. Whereas
it is turn 4.
Yeah, no, I mean you're thinking the thing below costs 4 mana, but wait, you could play that next turn with a Primal Fin Totem, get kind of a power spike there, exploit the advantage on thing from below where it discounts.
That's what I'm thinking. You read my mind. You know me so well.
Yeah. You're gonna want to Barnes up a Mana Tide, draw an extra card, force the opponent to interact with the 1/1. No, goes for thing from below.
I'm very curious about that. That costs less later. Barnes always costs 4.
Yeah. You can't Primal Fin Totem Barnes on turn 5. It just doesn't work like that. Okay, so AKAWonder's position. He's just gonna ping his Acolyte, huh?
Well, yeah.
He's looking at a Blizzard next turn.
You see he's facing down 10 damage with a Bloodlust. That's another 12. And he's like, you know what? I live after that. That's fine.
Wow, you did that Bloodlust math so fast. You multiply 4 minions times 3 damage per minion. It's 12.
I did use my my elementary math skills. Multiplication.
Yeah. I mean,
I did not count on my fingers.
Yeah, I'm just saying a lot of people will add every time. They're like, all right, this is 5 plus 3, and then 3 plus 3, and 0 plus 3, and 2 plus 3, and it's just a lot harder to add and figure out how much damage it would be. It's a lot easier to just multiply. It's a trick that you should know. With cards like Savager and Bloodlust, you should be multiplying. You can do the math faster that way.
Good call.
I mean, if doing the math faster doesn't sound important to you, I honestly have to disagree with you because from what I know of successful pro Hearthstone players, they all have good mathematical minds. Like 100% of them have really good mathematical minds. Math is an easy class for them, that kind of thing. So I think just being able to do the math fast is important.
Okay. I mean, I think so as well. I just think a lot of people knew about multiplication before we introduced it to them.
No, they did not, man. I see people count on their fingers every day.
I count on my fingers every day.
That's why I brought that up. I was making fun of you.
I know.
Never gonna let that go. It's beautiful.
I'm a finger counter, man. It's just it's part of my identity as a player.
No. This is a good blizzard. It kills a bunch of stuff and it freezes the rest of it. Sets up to ping the flame tongue. Maybe he draws a valet or a frostbolt to deal with the thing from below.
Stops your block from getting popped. That's fantastic. You don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
All right.
I believe that was the only blizzard in AKAWonder's deck, which is kind of a bummer. You definitely want to have 2 blizzards against token shaman. It's a great card in the matchup because it just does such a great job of killing minions, even though it's only dealing 2 damage.
It's a fantastic card. Glyph as well is pretty good in the matchup because you can find more blizzards and AoE things. Yeah. AKAWonder, he's running a Freeze Mage hybrid deck. He's got like Volcanic Potion in there, which is nice because it's another AoE. He doesn't have Thalnos in there, which is another great card for the matchup because it makes random cards off Glyph just so much better. Like Cone of Cold and Arcane Explosion are suddenly the nuts because the spell damage buff.
Yeah, the Thalnos would also be great with the Volcanic and Blizzard in his deck. But, so Ping kind of made a big decision there. He kind of just went for all of the pressure with all of the totems. He knows that AKAWonder is not playing Flame Strike in his deck. He knows that it's an unfavored matchup where if he gives AKAWonder enough time, AKAWonder will win. So he just takes a very aggressive line, takes a risk, and he is rewarded for it in that AKAWonder didn't have any great answer to him playing all this stuff. So he's going to continue to follow up the pressure by playing more stuff.
And AKAWonder can kind of get a hard read that there's no Bloodlust, because Bloodlust would have popped him there, as well as the fact that, like, Royaleeping is not even pretending to count for Bloodlust.
Yeah. So, I want to talk about this turn 4 Barnes that Royal didn't play. He went for Thing from Below instead. Had he played the Barnes on turn 4, it pulled out a totem, which I believe discounts the Thing from Below in hand further.
Yeah. It's just not correct to play Thing from Below on 4 instead of Barnes.
The advantage to the Thing from Below on 4 is that it's more pressure right away. Right? It's 5 attack instead of 4.
More.
Yeah.
One more attack.
Well, sometimes 1 is a lot. In this case, 1 is 20% more. It's not, or 25% more. It's not that much, really. I agree with you. All right. So, drawing some cards. Maybe find a Doomsayer to pair with this Frost Nova.
Well, he's already got one.
Oh. Well, that's nice.
Yeah, he doesn't need to find it. He's got it right there in his hand. I mean, maybe he lost it for a little while, yeah.
Well, pretty good Frost Nova Doomsayer. Oh, Bloodlust a bit late for Ping here. He needed a Devolve to answer the Doomsayer.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
That is a bummer. Those minions are dead.
He is. Oh, Alex draws off the top, and it is over.
How are you ahead of me? Oh, because you're watching it independently, I understand. You're just like 2 seconds ahead. It's fine.
Okay. Sorry, I spoiled it for everybody. But yeah, it's over now. Now he's gonna burn him in the face, draw cards, burn him in the face again, block, and then burn him in the face again. That's all she wrote, boys.
It was very functionally over when that Doomsayer goes off, though.
Yeah, essentially. Well, he's got the reload. Like, he could have made something happen if there was no Alex, but now he doesn't have enough time. He is very, very dead.
And like you said at the beginning, matchups quite mage favored. Just kind of basically the shaman doesn't have any defensive tools to allow it to survive the mage's offense once that gets going with Alex draws into burn or just burn into burn. And the mage has many good tools to slow down the shaman's offense. So the mage just slows down the shaman's offense, assembles its own offense, and wins. Like, what can the shaman do to interact with the burn game plan? All I can think of is Stonehill into healing cards.
Well, we've seen the Stonehill, and it didn't get healing cards. So AKAWonder is aware that no healing is available, so he has a 100% lethal because there is also there's no healing in the deck, no Eater's Secret. So if he goes Fireball, Frostbolt, Ping into Firelands Portal, he has 100% lethal. If he does it this way, he could roll Antique Healbot
this is a bit
lose
sloppy.
the game. Yeah. So this is not the correct way to do this.
Ooh, Bittertide Hydra's kind of interesting, but he's got an ice block, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
He's got an ice block and he's got lethal next turn. You could probably ping your own Hydra for BM at this point.
You could, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
It's really funny.
If you're going to Firelands Portal first, might as well ping your own Hydra. But yeah, there's this Corrupted Healbot card he could have gotten that would restore 8 health to his opponent when it dies, which would have allowed Royaleeping to do some sort of crazy Bloodlust heal kind of plays.
Yeah, that's just one of those little things that experienced mage players always have on their mind. When you're trying to sequence out your lethal burn setups, you look for, can I portal last to play around the Corrupted Healbot off of portal. In this case, yes, he could have, but no, he didn't.
Yeah, so a bit sloppy. But, I mean, this matchup's really hard to lose as the mage, especially if your Doomsayer goes off.
Yeah.
It's just... the shaman's trying to do all of these things,
and
they're trying to build this board, and you just freeze it and freeze it and freeze it and then kill them. Because they can't do anything without the board, man, and you just never let them have it.
Look at this Maelstrom Portal. 3 damage to minions, 3 damage to the face. Spawn of patches. Another 1 damage to minion, another 3 damage to the face.
And it all doesn't matter, though. He's really trying.
No, he's 100% dead.
Yeah.
Even the disconnect wouldn't save you. I think the admin would probably give this one to AKAWonder. Like Fireball Ping, I think he might figure it out.
He's got it.
Yeah. Could AI first for some BM. I don't think he ever would.
Oh, he's going to glyph first for some BM.
Box? Is he really? You're like 3-4 seconds ahead of me.
All right, well, maybe we should both refresh at the same time and see if we can fix our alignment.
If I refresh, it's gonna look awkward on stream for a bit.
All right, are you ready to refresh?
No, hold on.
All right, get ready.
I'm ready.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
100%?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm refreshing right now.
Okay, I'm going. In it.
All right, we're looking at AKAWonder right with his pen, main stage.
Yes, we are.
Well,
is it a purple pen? I can't really tell from this distance, but it seems like it might be purple. I like that. Very fashionable.
Yeah, I'm going to assume it's purple. My uncle's favorite color is purple. Lots of purple stuff. Purple Scrabble set.
He's got a purple Scrabble set.
Well, he's big into Scrabble. He loves that Scrabble. In case you're wondering about my uncle.
Are you a big Scrabble guy? I thought you were more like a math guy.
I'm not a Scrabble guy. Well, my uncle's a math guy and a Scrabble guy. Apparently the two can go together.
I never know when to call BS when I play Scrabble. So it's like...
just memorize the dictionary.
Right, yeah. Like
that's what he does, literally. Like,
okay. Well, people do these like... usually the guy that wins Scrabble makes some like bullshit like XI or QI word somewhere.
Okay, well you should definitely know all the 2-letter words, and those are...
I know, yeah, but it's like... I always try and make...
I'm not a Scrabble champion either. I don't know the 2-letter words.
Yeah, I try to make like big words because those are fun, but the guy always beats me with like 100-point QI. I don't like that at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been a Scrabble guy. I'm more of a chess guy. Mm-hmm. More of a Hearthstone guy, really. I'm
a big Hearthstone guy.
Hearthstone's
I play
great.
A lot of Hearthstone. Big fan of the game. Big fan.
So let's talk briefly about how the players got here. So there's 16 players roughly in the tournament at the start of today, but the tournament actually started with almost 400 players. There was like a 256-man bracket for the Chinese region, and I think 128-man for the rest of the world region. So
Right.
these guys did a lot of winning. I think 7 rounds of Swiss to get to this point.
Yeah, this tournament's been going on for like months now.
It's a battle.
There's online portion, and now this is the LAN Grand Finals. So they were a lot of players playing a lot of games over a long period of time. And I think there were 128, and I think like 64 or something were like invites, or it was like open invites or something like that. So all the people in that portion were like good players. Like they were all like notable tournament pros as well. So it's tough, man.
Yeah. So we've got sort of an aggro mirror here. Royal has the advantage of going first. So if he can hit like 1 drop into Flame Tongue or 1 drop into Primal Fin Totem, that could give him a lead. If he falls behind, he's looking for Maelstrom Portal to catch up. And he's got all of those things, 1 drop into Primal Fin and Maelstrom Portal to catch up if it doesn't work out. So you got to think Royal's favored here. Looking at AKAWonder's side, to get into it, he's going to need to find a weapon to pair with that Dread Corsair.
Yeah.
So,
and he's in a bad matchup already to begin with as well. The shaman, typically quite strong against the paladin, just has good tools to react to their stuff. You know, devolve, namely, being really strong, as well as just Jade Claws, Bloodsail Corsair, Flame Tongue Totem, Maelstrom Portal. You know, that's about half the deck. It's really good against paladin.
Yeah, the devolve in particular is great against paladin because of Spike Ridge Steed just shutting that thing down. Huge pickup for AKAWonder here. He draws the True Silver, so he's probably going to want to try to save the coin to get the True Silver out on turn 3 to get that Dread Corsair out sooner, get that Power Spike going immediately. So he's going to play 1/1 drop on this turn. Which one?
I think you'd probably go with the Argent Squire. You try and save the Murloc for some hidden Murloc potential later on.
The Squire's safer against the potential Flame Tongue turn as well.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes you draw Rallying Blade and they don't bump it. I don't know.
No, they always bump it.
Sometimes they misclick. There's a lot of pressure. Maybe a breeze comes through, nudges their arm a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You never played on a windy stage before?
I really haven't. They tend to be indoors.
I mean, sometimes there's a big fan going with like the showgirls that are promoting the cars. Their hair waves in the wind and that, you know.
All right, so this is a key decision point for AKAWonder.
Right.
He could hero power for value or play the Murloc Tidecaller for tempo.
I'm going to say he's probably going to hero power.
Okay.
I'd gamble on it.
I'd probably hero power, but I'd really think about the Tidecaller. Like, it's ugly. Okay, so I guess one of the main advantages to hero powering is after you coin True Silver Dread Corsair next turn, on turn 4 you really have very little to do. So you like saving the Tidecaller for the turn 4. But, I mean, having a 1/2 instead of a 1/1 is quite relevant on this board.
Quite.
It survives the 1/1. It's quite a bit less relevant if they J-Claws it, but no, he wants the Primal Fin here, yeah, so... All right.
He does want Primal Fin, Flame Elemental.
Yeah, and he just feels very strong here. He's got 2 Primal Fins just ticking away. Trades, obviously. Why wouldn't you clear the board?
And as far as comeback potential is in this Paladin deck, what are we looking at for that?
This turn. Coin, weapon, Dread Corsair.
Yeah, but there's no Consecrates, there's no Primordial Drakes, there's not even a Tyrion. So...
No, the weapons to the Dread Corsair are the comeback. This has got to be good enough. And so far, it looks not good enough. It's really strong. Oh, it's really strong. But it's like a little bit short, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
That second Primal Fin totem's still going, plus Ping gets a turn to develop more problems for you. Although I guess Ping kind of has to use that turn to protect his totem from... Oh, that's a good card.
That is spicy.
We're going to see probably some hot tongue action in the near future. You could try and roll a taunt totem to protect against the weapon.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think you want to do that.
Unfortunately, the Flame Tongue's ending up on the far left side of the board where it's just really not...
I would have liked to see him
its potential.
Roll the totem first. If you hit taunt totem, develop Flame Tongue.
Yeah. Oh,
if you don't, you go with the Jade Claws. Instead, he rolls the totem last, getting minimal information on the turn.
Yeah, a little bit of a sequencing error there. Oh, Finja, this is another piece of comeback potential I neglected to mention. So the True Silver, the Dragonlord, and Finja is another way to try to come back. Now, Ping could potentially find a Devolve to interact with Finja. It's one of the few decks that can successfully interact with the Finja. And he could also just have so much pressure from Flame Tongue and Thing from Below that he doesn't even care.
Doesn't even care.
He actually has... Okay, he's overloaded. It's a perfect turn.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty easy Flame Tongue. Thing from Below turn. You put the Thing from Below next to the Flame Tongue because your opponent doesn't have a weapon.
Serious positioning for that Thing from Below.
Yeah, it could be next to the Flame Tongue because there's this True Silver that might hit it, right? Like,
well, I guess he's assuming the True Silver is never going to hit it because there are no Consecrates in the deck and Patches has been used. So he wants the availability for cleaner trades with the minions. I still think it's a little sketchy.
Oh, it devolves right off the top for Ping. And Senjin, while it looks nice, it really just doesn't do much against this Flame Tongue. It's just trading with a couple of 1/1s. Or maybe a 1/1 and a weapon charge. Probably a couple of 1/1s. You don't have that much board space here. Like, you trade in the 1/1, you play a Stonehill, you save your J-Claws. Okay, he's doing the same thing, but with a better sequencing.
Mm-hmm.
Well done, Ping. These are some horrible discovers. I'd take Ozer because it's funny. And I guess Shield Bearer is kind of funny, too. And it's the actual correct pick, right? It's good with Flame Tongue and Primal Fin Totem.
Yeah, but your board's already too full, and you're against a deck that can't board sweep you.
Yeah, you
but yeah, it really doesn't matter what he picks there. He's going to win.
Yeah. Sunkeeper Tarim's pretty bad. Tends to buff a lot of the opponent's minions here.
Doesn't buff any of yours, surprisingly.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a bummer.
Yeah, decks with no comeback mechanism are not as fun to cast because it's a real one-dimensional game.
I mean, he tried. He did the True Silver Dread Corsair. He did the Finja, and Ping just kind of had enough stuff for it.
Okay, so let's start analyzing the last matchup, which is going to be the UK Paladin Mirror.
Sounds pretty even. Probably want to go first.
All 30 cards are the same.
Well, you're going to want to go first in these aggro mirrors, because if you go first, you get to play the first minion, make the first attack. That tends to lead to board control, and board control tends to lead to wins in aggro matchups.
Good.
Aggro mirrors, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Key stuff to watch out for. Don't draw patches. Do draw a weapon plus Dread Corsair. Finja could swing it back if you're behind.
Our entire Twitch chat is just talking about like politics and censorship, and
that's good.
They're going deep on something completely unrelated, man. You guys got to pay attention to the UK Paladin. Who's not excited about Pirate Paladin?
I mean, let's talk about what's at stake here. First place in this tournament gets $12,000 and 5 HCT points. That's a big deal. Yeah. You know what I would do for 5 HCT points right now? Some things I will not admit to on stream.
Okay.
I really want those points. Those are a big deal to me. Very important.
Would you jog backwards for 2 miles?
I'd do it for 10 miles.
10 miles. All right, what about...
I would, and by the way, that's worse. No, hold on. I want to explain. If I run 10 miles, I am going to mess up my knee. Like, I've been through this before. I don't run anymore because I will screw up my knee. But I would jog backwards for 10 miles knowing that I'm going to like have knee pain for weeks or months or whatever.
Now, would you dress up in a clown suit, go to the mall, and walk on your hands up an escalator?
I would... Well, like, physically can't... I would train to learn how to do that. Yeah, dress up in a clown suit.
Well, all of the training needs to be done in the clown suit,
now, hold on.
Of course.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, to get the balance right. But now, hold on. I'm on my hands going up an escalator. I'm going up the up escalator, right?
Right, of course.
Okay, because we've gone up the down escalator before, but never on our hands. That sounds a lot harder.
I know that. I figured that was too much, right?
That one I would give up on. I would say, you know what? I just don't have... I'm not that kind of athlete.
Right.
I'm not any kind of athlete. I'm a digital athlete. You know what I mean?
A digital, for sure. We're talking about digital points here. We're not training for the Olympics.
But no, for sure, I would do the training necessary to learn how to do a handstand so that I could dress up in a clown suit, go to the mall, and do a handstand on the escalator and go up the escalator for those 5 HCT points. But they're not just playing for 5 HCT points for first place. It's also $12,000, and I would do more than a clown suit for $12,000. You know what I mean? I'd wear a dress.
A dress.
Is that better? Because I'm doing a handstand.
Well, I mean,
that's pretty
the dress
exciting.
is gonna flop down in your face. You're
That's
gonna
what I'm
be
saying.
revealing. Well, are you gonna be wearing the full outfit then? Like, you got
I'll do whatever I have to do to get that 12 grand and 5 HCT points. I'm in. I want it.
It's a big deal, man.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
AKAWonder repping that SK cap, looking stylish. I like it.
Yeah. Team SK. He's been doing pretty good lately. He had did pretty well in winter, I remember. I think he made it to the top 16 cut, or if not, at least top 32, And he actually wasn't able to represent his country for global games, He's from Spain, so a little bit of a disappointment for him there, being such a high-level competitor.
All right, now looking at the mulligan, AKAWonder's got weapon plus Dread Corsair and a 1-drop, all beautiful things.
I like that a lot. I think I would keep every card in AKAWonder's hand.
Yeah, you're thinking turn 1 Argent Squire, turn 2 Coin Rallying Blade, turn 3 probably Dread Corsair plus something.
Of something and a Dread Corsair, and then into the War Leader, yeah.
Okay.
And as Ping, I would probably just full mulligan for a 1-drop. I think
No. You keep the Rock Pool. That card's good.
Okay. If I keep... Yeah, I guess you can keep Rock Pool, but you really need to get a 1-drop going first. Having a 1-drop going first is so insane.
I wonder if you keep the Rallying Blade with the Rock Pool. That seems silly.
That seems bad. That's going to lower your odds to get a 1-drop a lot.
Yeah, you're thinking you have a lot of good 3-drops. As good as weapons are in the matchup, and they are very good, you just really need to hit that 1-drop Murloc into the Rock Pool. And here we just see really powerful hands on both sides. So advantage Ping because he's going first, right? But let's look at how the cards actually line up. He's going to need to find stuff for turns 3 and 4. Turns 1 and 2, I think we figured those out.
Those ones are going to be good.
Yeah.
He's going to play the 1-drop, then he's going to play the 2-drop. And it's going to line up fairly well. 1-3 against 1-1 Divine Shield, pretty good. And then he gets to buff it.
It's a 2-4 and a 2-3, yeah.
Yeah.
So the 2-4 is going to become a 2-3. Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. The Rallying Blade cleans up both the 1 and the 2 for Ping. I want to say part of the innovation here of this deck is Argent Squire's 1-drop instead of something like, say, Grimscale Chum. And in this position in particular, you can really see Argent Squire being better because it's not dying to 1 attack from that Vilephin Inquisitor where a Chum would. So it just does a better job of sticking to the board in the early game. And that's really important. Because like we said, aggro mirrors are about early game board control. You get the early game board, snowballs into favorable attacks for the rest of the game. And it's tough to argue with the Rock Pool on 2. Definitely have to trade that bubble because you're aware of the risk of Coin Rallying Blade, especially with AKAWonder having kept cards. He did mulligan that War Leader. He didn't have faith in his ability to draw a cheap Murloc to pair with the War Leader. He was looking for other stuff, apparently. The Finja is a great thing to find, I think, in this matchup.
It's not the worst, for sure. But, yeah, I don't see any other options besides Rock Pool. I think if you try and play the 1-drop there, it's just going to mess up your curve and put less stats on the table, which are both things you don't want to be doing in this matchup. Yeah,
the Rock Pool on 2 curves into Tidecaller Hero Power on 3, worst case scenario, which is very reasonable. So Coin Rallying Blade and eat some 2-3. Does it matter which 2-3 you eat? It could matter. There's scenarios where War Leader heals things and stuff happens.
Yeah, in scenarios with Getaway Kodo, potentially. I still think you just probably kill, like, the injured 2-3 for, like, War Leader stuff.
You could kill the Rock Pool because it's a little bit better with Redemption or Getaway Kodo. He could turn 3 Hydrologist Secret.
Well, like, Redemption doesn't matter because it trade patches into whatever it is.
Okay. Getaway Kodo matters a tiny bit, but not a whole lot. The War Leader thing also it's pretty minor both ways. I might just flip a coin. It's not good strategy, but it's kind of funny. Get a laugh.
He's going to try and extend as many Murlocs onto the board as possible, bait out the weapon charge, and then develop the War Leader. Just the correct way to sequence a Murloc hand.
And of course he clears there. Clearing's good in aggro mirrors. So Dread Corsair pulling patches. He's able to not quite clear. He has to leave the 2/2 rock pool alive.
Yeah, which if War Leader comes down, goes up to only 3 health, so that's fine.
Yeah, so he's not getting value traded by that. He's thinking about Megasaur on 4. I mean, he's not thinking about anything. He kind of just has to do these plays because they're by far the strongest. Rock pools here. Oh, and my stream just went down.
My stream just went down as well.
All right. That's... Oh, it came back up.
Oh, it's back. Here we go.
Patches is traded. Do a good job, little guy.
We didn't miss a thing. We're right in the action.
Well, the action's frozen on my screen. I don't know about yours.
Yeah, mine froze again. They're just promoting the new expansion.
Well, I'm starting to learn just how good Hearthstone graphics are. We've got a freeze frame of Patches attacking into this Murloc, and there's like a nice big shiny star going on, and like 0 health is like kind of enlarged to demonstrate that's where the action is. And then both minions are going to 0 health and then dying. I really like the animation. We got like the freeze frame on it. Oh, he actually... AKAWonder went Argent Squire over Rockpool Hunter there. He took... Interesting. He's trying to get value off the Rockpool Battlecry, buffing his Finja.
Yeah, sometimes these matchups, when they get grindy like this, do end up going towards a value game. So I guess he's really trying to focus on doing that.
He could have hero powered instead of Argent Squire. That would have been the highest value line. He took a medium ground between high value hero power and high tempo Rockpool. He went with the medium Argent Squire. Well, if he had hero powered, it'd be a lot worse against this Finja, and Rockpool would be too, actually.
Wow, it sets up to play around the Finja. Interesting.
Huh. So now we got some nice Finja wars going on. Put a steed on that Finja. It makes it pretty hard to kill. Make you feel comfortable attacking with it. I guess it's not that hard. If you steed your Finja and attack, the opponent could tear him, and you get absolutely obliterated.
Well, it picks up the Rallying Blade now, so now you can actually kill something with the Finja.
Yeah, that sounds like the line, huh?
Mm-hmm. Doesn't want to get blown out by Terran.
So you Rallying Blade into the Argent Squire, then you Finja into the Argent Squire. You see what you pull, and then you play your Stonehill Defender. Your Stonehill's going to die to True Silver, and then the opponent's Finja's going to eat one of your Murlocs, wanting more of his Murlocs. And here, AKAWonder having saved that rock pool is actually a huge deal, because it allows his Finja to clear the opponent's Finja. Ping.
Ooh, those are not good Murlocs to pull.
This is actually crazy. AKAWonder's turn 5 or turn 4 middle ground decision of Argent Squire instead of Hero Power or Rock Pool was like way better.
Yeah, it like perfectly played around turn 5 Finja from Ping, which he did have a soft read on because the Finja's been sitting in his hand since the Mulligan. So there isn't too many high cost cards in the UK Paladin, as they only run Curator, Finja, and like Spike Ridge Steed and Tarim at the top. So yeah, that was actually pretty sick.
Holy cow.
And
I would love
it's gonna win him the game, yeah.
How did he know, man? I would have missed that.
I mean, it's not even how does he know, it's like what is doing the other lines play against? Like having an extra 2/3 compared to a 1/1 doesn't really help him against very many specific scenarios. With a 1/1 Divine Shield perfectly plays around Finja, so I think that's more. It's like the other things don't put you far enough ahead to matter, and this one plays around the instance of if they Finja. I don't know. Maybe he's a wizard.
Maybe he's a wizard. All right, so Ping's way behind on board, but does get to have a strong turn here. Probably Spike Ridge Steed with the Murloc. So he gets the Steed up at 2/2, value trade the Stonehill, weapon the Finja, trade his 2/2 into the opponent's Tidecaller, and he'll have a 4/7 Hydrologist and a 1/2 Tidecaller. He'll have cleared his opponent's 3 most important minions. The opponent has 5 attack on board, plus 4 from the True Silver is 9. So he can't even break through the taunt.
You could also go with a Sunkeeper Terran play here.
It seems like the Tarim gets better later, and the Steed's really strong right now.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Like the steed, like lets you take an extra good trade with hydrologist into a 4/2 murloc.
It's pretty juicy.
Yeah.
Paladin does not have a lot of great ways of interacting with Spike Ridge Steed either. So once you can get one of those down, it's a pretty big deal. They don't have silence in the deck. The UK Paladin does not run Aldor Peacekeeper, which is the typical way Paladin interacts with things like this. So you kind of just got to take it.
I think I would leave the 4/3 up and just go Vilefin, Hero Power. Go wide knowing the opponent doesn't play any AoE. And it kind of diminishes the strength of their Tyrion. Also, by trading to that Hydrologist, you sort of give the 2/6 Stegadon that's underneath it charge. You don't want to let that attack.
Exactly. So you should not kill off this Death Rattle. You should keep the threat of War Leader and Gentle Megasaur alive, as well as reducing the value of your opponent's Sunkeeper Terran.
He's thinking about it. He's thinking, if I kill this Murloc, I reduce the value of my opponent's War Leader or Megasaur.
Right. That's too a concern. But he's got 24 life, you know? Live a little.
It's not just life. Those things turn into value trades. It's not about the life total. Okay. Patches is actually pretty sick with Sunkeeper Terran. So when you have Sunkeeper Terran in your deck, the downside of Patches, which is where you draw it, is a little bit smaller. I had a game recently where I tried to like Nova Doom or Blizzard Tomb on like a Paladin's turn 7. I was like, oh, this goes off every time. And then he went Patches Terran, and I lost.
That's sick.
Yeah, so that's something to watch out for if you're playing this UK Paladin against a mage, or if you're a mage playing against the UK Paladin. Patches Terran, and it'll get you Doomsayer. So Tyrion seems like a good card.
You can't really beat Tyrion, man.
No.
It is a terrific card. It's exactly what he's looking for.
Yeah. Big value, high tempo, good. Take some value trades, try and set up for a better Terran. And this is a nice Tyrion turn because he got 8 mana. It's got a green border around it. It's a good indicator that it's Tyrion time.
I think he's figured out the indicator, and he's playing the Tyrion.
Yeah, he's going to swing with that weapon before the Ashbringer from Tyrion overwrites it.
Mm-hmm.
It's something to be aware of with Tyrion. It's just making sure you're not wasting a weapon. He kind of had to swing with his True Silver on turn 7 to set up for the turn 8 Tyrion and use all of his weapon charges in time. So, I'm thinking this is a good turn for Sunkeeper Terran. I'm buffing 4 of my own minions, and then the opponent's minions kind of are a push.
You're buffing 5 of your own minions,
Oh, you can
man.
hero power with it. That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
So you're kind of getting like plus 10 stats. It's like a dino size with a 3/7 body in terms of the rough stat value. It's a quick and dirty analysis, not exactly correct. I like the clear. Protect your Terran from his weapon. Stonehill is really good with buffs like Kings and Spike Ridge Steed. The fact that it has such low attack and high health means it really wants those buffs to kind of like balance out the stats. Because at 1/4, the 4 health is very vulnerable to being value traded. But once you buff the attack value up, unfortunately we can't see the Discover here, so we can't really talk about what's going on in the game. Take some Burn Bristle. But yeah, once you buff the attack value up, then the health value becomes more valuable, less vulnerable to value trades.
Mm-hmm.
So he's thinking about this Burn Bristle Kings interaction, and he's thinking, maybe I should just Kings up to Stonehill.
I think you probably got to Kings up to Stonehill and then try and play the Burn Bristle with whatever you top deck. Hopefully it's a Spike Ridge Steed because you are under pressure.
Yeah, I like what you're saying there. Kings up the Burn Bristle, Hero Power, and then probably whack that Terran.
Oh yeah, you whack the hell out of that Terran.
Hoping to whack it off next turn.
Whack it right off. So it comes completely off the board.
Oh yeah, I like it when it comes off the board. Is that bad?
You're supposed to be a professional, I think.
Yeah, I'm just not very professional.
No, this is... Yeah.
This is beautiful is what this is.
This is a deck that doesn't run Consecrate, that cannot punish these 2 health minions.
His instincts told him to play around Consecrate anyways. Trade with that 3/2.
Interesting.
I mean, I think it's probably fine.
He's going to be
he
okay.
trades with it because you want to minimize the health on the guy that's dying to Ashbringer, right? You're maximizing the Ashbringer's inefficiency and overkill on the taunt minion.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
It's game over, man.
No, Ping's going to take this series over AKAWonder for sure.
Right, yeah, he's got it. It's in the bag.
That Tyrion in his hand, pretty nice.
It was kind of interesting that two players had the same exact decks, like two players from different regions, right? AKAWonder representing Europe and Ping representing China. Two of the four decks that they had were the same exact 30 cards, card for card.
Yeah, usually the regions are pretty different in terms of the metagame and what's considered a standard net deck and all that. But I guess the pro metagames are kind of merging as those pro players are willing to go the extra mile to net deck people across the world, find the biggest advantage they can. Best deck.
Yeah. So congratulations to Ping taking it over